Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to another that we're bringing you from Travel Weekly. It's a new year. We're in 2023, and I'm absolutely delighted to bring together three fantastic agents to chat to us this morning about, I guess, how things are going. We've got Gemma Antrobus. She's the owner of Haslemere Travel. We've got Tony Mann, who is the director at Idle Travel, and Lisa Henning, who is the managing director of Inspire Europe. It's kind of like getting the gang back together from from lockdown. Tony and Gemma, you were on lots through that period. We're really grateful for that. Lisa, your first time on today. We're really happy to have you here. But
Thank
Gemma,
you.
I'm gonna start with you, Gemma, because I was so delighted on the 28th of December. So just after Christmas, I saw you tweeting that you were having the most incredible first day back since Christmas, with all these amazing inquiries. So tell us a little bit about that. Were they just inquiries? Did they turn into bookings? What have you seen?
A mixture. So some stuff is still ongoing. Some were clients putting out feelers. But what was just really great was that, clients and existing clients and new clients were getting in contact to say, can you help us? Which is what we as agents want, isn't it? That first step. We're always telling people, just give us a try, people that haven't booked with us before. So, a cross section of both and really varied destinations. Some, really doing what we've been advising in all of our client communications. We keep talking about book in advance, planning. If you can start planning 11, 12 months in advance, this is the best time to be doing whatever it is that you want to do. So some clients are very much thinking like that. Others are still looking for a little bit of last minute winter sun. Others are talking about, we're starting to get a lot of clients talking about like real bucket list stuff,
Right.
or anniversaries that are coming up, that kind of thing. So things that really do need planning in advance. So yeah, it was I worked from home between Christmas and New Year. We didn't open the office, and clients are very aware of that, but it was a really good 3 days of just continual conversations with clients, lots of quotes coming in, going out. And then obviously since we've been back, we've been converting some of those, having further meetings. We don't sell stuff that you do one quote and it books. Sometimes there's a lot of work that needs to go in. So just a really positive start to the year. I think the one downside, and I'm sure Tony and Lisa will echo this, is there's a lot of unrealistic expectations out there.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
just think that's something we need to manage.
Yeah, on price, you mean people
Yeah.
wanting
Or
really
what they want
amazing deals?
for their price.
Yeah.
We had an inquiry that asked for elevated luxury for a family of four, and they had a very, very skinny budget. So you kind of wonder, where have they been looking to make that assumption that that comes for that price? Because I do think when people come to an agent, they've probably done some sort of research before and they want to know how we can add to that, add to the value of their holiday. So
Yeah. Yeah.
just for us to manage, really.
Okay. All right. Well, largely positive. So happy about that. That's great. Let's bring you in, Tony, then, because you do sell a bit more mass market. Perhaps you do, unlike Gemma, who says it's not necessarily one conversation and booked. What have you been seeing?
Well, we've come started the year off the back of our best year ever last year by far. I mean, absolutely. When you dream about things, but really you never think it's going to happen, do you? We've been trading 39 years. We had an amazing year last year, which is, I'm not expecting this year to be like that, but, crest of wave and all that lot. Mirroring what Gemma said, actually, we closed Christmas Eve, but we still did bookings on Christmas Eve because people wanted to book. Between Christmas and New Year, we were really busy, and we had a broad spectrum of what people are after as well. So we do obviously do, as you said, lots of the med for families, etc. But we found, certainly over these last few months, the level of bookings that we're getting in value is crazy, and the broad spectrum of everything's kind of coming our way. And the same thing. And obviously, what day are we today? I don't even know what day we are. But the beginning of this week, yesterday morning, we did have queues. The phones were ringing off the hook. And although it makes you think, oh, how do we deal with all these people at the door? It makes me chuckle and think, yeah, come on, 23, let's have it.
But right at the start, though, you said you didn't think this year would be as good as last year. What, I mean, why not? Why are you cautious about that then?
Well, not cautious. I think what I'll do is I'm gonna look at 2019, and if we do what we did last year, brilliant. And I still think, yeah, there's a possibility. You know, I look at our 23 bookings, and we are way ahead in 23. So there's no
and that's
reason.
in volume. And also, we spoke to you, and you said you had these crazy high revenue bookings coming in, which is not normal, I guess, for you at this time of year. So
Absolutely, yeah. And that's made a difference to what we've already booked for 23. So we're on a bit of a roll, really. And what I'm trying to do is not focus on last year, but 2019. So expectations are for the team or anything, look, we can do it. We do 2019, whoopie-doo. I were glad in 2019. If we do what we did last year, I'll be more than whoopie-doo. I might take them for another night out.
Steady, Tony. I mean, you know, don't go too far. All right, Lisa, let's talk to you then. You people who don't know Inspire, maybe, but you, because you're a tour operator as well as a travel agent, you do both. You have your own ATOL license as well as selling other people's products.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're slightly different in Inspires. We don't have a shop window, so to speak. So we have 4 different revenue streams. One is our charity partner fulfillment, which comes with its own restrictions in what the families can book. We have our home workers. We have our gift card sales, which is slightly different. And then we also have our overseas loyalty program as well. So it's slightly different into the traditional travel agent, but that comes obviously with massive pros. So for us, we have almost a guaranteed book of business, if you like, all throughout the year because of the partnerships that we hold. So if we look at what's happening in the charity fulfillment, some families can only book UK, and that's still going strong. Interestingly, the prices have reduced for, I think, for UK holidays versus what we've been seeing, so that's good. Slightly concerning from our families within this area is previously they would always top up their grants or add more value so they could get a better holiday. Families don't have the disposable income to do that, so the booking values dropped there. Within our home working market, I kind of echo what Gemma and Tony are saying, really. Luxury is just being requested quite a lot, higher end value bookings. You know, we've had 50s and 60 grand bookings come through at the beginning. You know, we're already on the 5th, we're only on the 5th of January. So, and that, I think, speaking to our home workers and speaking to the consumers, they've had money that's been almost saved up from previous holidays where they've been carrying holidays over from the dreaded C word. So they've got maybe those that can afford it or have extra disposable income are able to spend more. So the higher revenues coming from the higher accommodation, they're traveling first, or business instead of economy. And then within our other area, which is our gift card business, that's mainly overseas package that we're DPing a lot of it ourselves. Some operators are taking a little longer than usual to come back, but hey, we're all in it together, so that's not dissing anybody at all, but that can be a slight frustration for us at the moment. But overall, really positive, really happy, and long may it continue.
Oh yes, absolutely. It's interesting, isn't it? So it's either people seem to be going all out, the bucket list, they, you know, up, you know, maybe so upgrading things, or the point you made there, Lisa, we should talk about that. You've got some families that are having to perhaps cut back a little. And I know we talked to you, Tony, for a story this week, because we were talking about how people were definitely still prioritizing holidays, but you were seeing them slightly adapt, maybe different duration, destination, departure day. Like, are you, so how are you, you know, what's happening on that front?
Yeah, I think, you know, that obviously we sell lots of mass market, you know, we do, and we love to do that. And actually, it hasn't been too much of a problem, and the cost of living crisis so far. So what they're doing is they're adapting. Instead of going 10, they'll go 7, or 14, they'll go 10, etc. Or actually, sometimes they might think, well, we normally go self-catering, but we're going to go half board and all inclusive and go the other way, but no, they've got a specific spend. So far, it's not affected us. You know, the figures are looking good. I'm sure obviously it's affecting some people, but I think I think people have still got that desire to travel. And what, luckily for us in the north, that it's been cold and foggy and rainy. We could do with a bit of snow, but and then people get depressed and think, I want a holiday. So it so far doesn't seem to have affected us, and people are not really mentioning it, but they're just giving us a budget and saying this is what we're looking at. And I think, look, we're good at that, aren't we? We know our products, and we're saving people money. Yesterday I had somebody in, by changing, and we all know this, by changing the days 2 or 3 days, I saved them £150 and they went out delighted. And it's, we've got that knowledge of doing that, or the knowledge of sending them to the right destination, right place, right hotel, apartments and things like that. And what we've got there, I've got a brilliant team at the moment. My team is excellent. And they've worked hard over the last few years and they know the stuff. And so that gives me confidence. I do go out. They've just told me, actually, I told a customer this morning, it's January, he's sitting in office more and listening. But, and I do, but I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good year. And we're there as professionals, riding on that crest of a wave that travel agencies had, that we had over the last probably year, 18 months, where the media was saying, book at a travel agent, etc. We've still got that crest of a wave, and I think we'll do well with that. Let's still go out there and grab as much as we can. But it's nice to see new people coming along. We've had so many new customers. I'm shocked. I'm really shocked how many new customers we've had.
What do they say, Tony? They just come in and they say, oh, look, we're a bit more nervous now since the last few years, or they've heard about you, because I know you do your radio show and stuff. What do they say when they come into the door if they're a new customer?
Yeah, that thing, they've heard about us, and they normally book online, or they've never booked at a travel agency before, or they used to book at a travel agent, and we're getting them for all over, not just in Bradford. We are getting them throughout the country, which is crackers.
I'm so glad that's continued, because we talked a little bit about this, didn't we, last year, because people were sort of doing it, and we were worried how long that would last, whether it would just be short-lived until people thought, all right, it's okay now, I'll go back to doing it online. But it's great that it's still continuing. And Gemma, you mentioned at the start there that you just say to people, just try us, and you obviously have had quite a few people doing that.
Yeah, like Tony, we get people that sort of, we have a beautiful shop front. It's very inviting. And clients that walk in and say, oh, I've never been into a travel agency before. What do I do? And we're just like, sit down, talk to us about what you want. And I think, again, echoing what Tony said about the experience of the teams that we've got, we have a fantastic team, again, incredibly knowledgeable. And we know when we're talking to a client, when they're talking to us about budget and expectations, we know how to deal with that. And there is going to be some who, as I said before, have an expectation and a budget that don't necessarily match. And therefore it's our job to go, okay, so as well as looking at that, have you thought about doing X? And could perhaps I give you a suggestion for this as well? And then they go, oh yeah, that sounds interesting. Because you're not going to get the first one in the budget that they want to spend, so you don't want to lose them at all. So you're trying to be, I think it's being creative with what we're suggesting for customers. We do it with summer holidays, for example. Clients have got X to spend in Europe, and actually it's far cheaper to send them long haul than it is to send them short haul. And you sort of have that conversation at the beginning. Would you be open to looking at something a little bit further away? Better value for money. The word that I use all the time is value. And that's not price, it's about value for money. And that could be just the service that we offer. So going and it's access to those elusive interconnecting rooms, or those family units that people need that they can't find online, they can't book online, they're going to be looking at the bins. They need someone like Tony, Lisa, or I and our teams to help them navigate that. And I do think that we still have our very loyal client base. Like Tony, we've been going 35 years and he's been going more. We have those clients that know what we do and they value that. But we also have those now that perhaps are booking for the first time. Not everyone travels in 2022. There are people that are still only testing the water now. And they just want a little bit more hand holding, and they've heard about this elusive, this breed of travel agent that might be able to help them. And the press exactly have been incredible. They're not always our best friend, and I'm talking about the mainstream media, not the travel press.
Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah, just to clarify. But even this week, there've been some TV shows. Simon Calder has pushed back to travel agents again. And I know he gets a bit of a bad press, but I mean, Lucy, you'll know him. I know him. He's a really good guy. And he does actually believe that we have a huge value, and he does actually push us wherever he can. So, you know, that's all really positive, because these are the voices that are still out and about there. Thankfully, the heat has come off talking about travel. We've got a little bit to talk about China at the moment. Probably doesn't affect many of us in what we do in terms of sales. But, you know, the longer that we kind of stay out of it in terms of, messing about with who can go where and who can do what, it's all really positive for us. So yeah, like Tony, I echo that I think it's been an exciting year.
I love this.
Yeah.
I love this. Is so different to a few years ago when we had Tony moaning constantly. Lisa, though, just on the cost of living, just to finish off on that, because we have had some agents saying that people are waiting to get their energy bills through the door. They want their January pay packet. They just want to see where they are. So they might be thinking about it, but they're still nervous because of, I mean, I know, Tony, you're saying it's not really materialized, this cost of living crisis, but we're definitely seeing some agents seeing hesitation. Are you seeing that at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think just to go back to something that Tony referenced earlier, in terms of people are not afraid to commit, I don't think, initially. So they want the holiday, they are depressed, potentially, it is grey, it is gloomy. So booking a holiday now gives them that lift that they need. But when you look at how many holidays are being booked outside of the 14-week balance due date, that's where I wonder how many will be able to actually commit when it comes to paying the balance. However, saying that, when you think about, when you listen to our clients, and actually people are saying, I'll wrap up, I'll put an extra hoodie on before I don't book my holiday. Genuinely, some of the clients are saying, I'm having my holiday come what may. What we are seeing a change in is the time of year. So families are choosing to take the children out of school to still have the holiday. So we haven't seen a shorter duration. We've not seen a drop in duration, and we haven't seen a drop in standard of accommodation, where I was kind of thinking people might compromise. But we're not seeing any compromise in terms of the value, the duration. We're just seeing that they're choosing maybe a different time to go. And as I said, people are choosing to put a hoodie on and turn down the heating for the day. Yeah,
quite right.
absolutely.
Go on holiday.
Right, go on holiday. Don't worry about it. So yeah, for us, it is mentioned, but it's in a particular area within the business that it's more of a concern. In our home working world, as I said, no mention, no luxury, luxury going as much as they can do. And actually people are trying new. So we're seeing a huge increase in cruise bookings at the moment from people who have never cruised before. Again, it's great value.
I was going to say, do you think it's to do with that budgeting thing that Tony was talking about, that they know exactly all up front?
Yeah, they pay it, they know, they go on, and they're not choosing the lower end of cruises to try either. They're quite happy to try the higher end luxury, because again, they don't have to worry about the cost of anything really once they're on.
Yeah. Tony and Gemma, you nodded then. Are you seeing cruise going well?
Yeah, for us, yes, more than ever before. I mean, we've always done a smattering. We're not a cruise agency by any means. We've always done a smattering of cruising, mainly sort of the luxury high end. But yeah, we're seeing many more clients, and actually clients that would. The one thing that's really interesting with cruising is that there's a certain level of cruising that's is attractive to a certain demographic of clients, so an older client. But they've made everything really difficult for clients to book now. Everything is automated. Everything is on an app. Everything is on a website. So we're finding a lot of clients that perhaps pre-pandemic, who were a little bit more bullish, weren't so nervous about traveling, would give it a go of booking things online or not with an agent that they can see face to face. And now they're just, I had a client walk in the other day and she said, if it's a cruise line that sends me things as an email, I don't want it. I want a pack of tickets. Fine, well, that's absolutely fine. We'll find you that. And so there is, there are clients that have traditionally done things online. They've got a bit older, a little bit more jaded, perhaps had negative experiences with COVID, not just in the cruising world, but of course, cruising did really well during COVID, but they're looking for that reassurance and cruising. We're also suggesting it to clients who want value for money. Like Lisa said, that perception of value from paying that one price before you go, knowing exactly what you get, where you're going to be each day, the standard of your cabin, where it's located. Lots of people want that reassurance of this is exactly what I'm going to get when I travel and what I've spent my money on.
Okay. All right. Conscious of time, and I've got lots I want to cover, so I just want to move on a bit to talk about the suppliers that you work with, and how they are communicating with you, the deals they've got out there. We had Polka Dot Travel saying people were snapping up all these really super deals that are in the market at the moment. So what's been the general feeling? Is everybody back to strength? Are they proactive? Are they out training? Are they giving great deals for you to offer to your clients? Tony, tell us about what you're seeing from your partners.
Oh, Lucy and the call were going so well. No, there's lots of good partners out there, and there's lots of partners who made my hair go grey last year, even though I'm 60 this year. But and some of them
wasn't it already grey, Tony?
It was already grey. It's since I was 16 and I had a mullet. So look, there's some great partners out there, and the great partners that we've got, we go from strength to strength, from all different types of from cruises to mainstream to long haul operators who come back quickly. Some are brilliant. Some that we've already had bookings with have been absolutely dire. And I make no bones about them. We've had quite a few words. I've taken business away from them, and it still continues. Yesterday, people booking a cruise and stay, transfers wrong. I've had calls from Australia, Miami, bills not paid, and they just don't listen. So I just, to be honest, I haven't got time for bad service and continuous bad service.
I'm not going to make you, I'd love to make you name your shame, but I know you're not going to. But I'm more interested in is why do you think it's happening, Tony? Because were these partners that you used to work with pre-pandemic that were actually quite decent? Have they just never really recovered from the really difficult period in terms of resource? Is that the reason they can't get back to you, or is it worse? Is it just apathy, or what do you think is the reason behind it?
Probably a mixture of all them things, I think, really. I think we've had operators that we've probably just learned to live with certain things that go wrong, because things do go wrong. We get things wrong. We do, absolutely get things wrong. But what we do is we just deal with it. And if it's my fault or our company's fault, I pay for it and get on and move on and look after my customer. And it just, I'll tell you I'll tell a complaint, which was 70 days to get a reply. And we rang, the customer had rang the company, asked why they hadn't had a reply. The company said that they'd had the reply, but because we hadn't chased it, they didn't want to send it. And obviously, we have chased it. 4 times we've chased it. And then they said the lady was dealing it with Mary. This was before Christmas. And we couldn't get in touch with Mary because I think she'd gone with Joseph and we're trying to find a stable or something. But when they said, well, it might take 4 days to come back because she could be off a few days because she's busy because it's Christmas. And when we said, well, 4 days is not good enough if you've got the reply. And the person on the end of the phone said, well, 4 days is not much if they've waited 70. So that is the general things of some of the companies that we deal with.
Yeah.
And
then what do you do about that, Tony? I mean, we've had this conversation before and I said, are there people you'll never work with again? I mean, if you're being let down, will you stop working with them, or are they companies that you kind of have to work with because they have? There's
some that you might have to work with, but you don't push things that way. There's companies that we don't have to work with, so they're not going to get it. That's the type of thing. I speak to my consortia. I speak to people at that company. I just can't stand bad service. It's not the start of it; it's what continues to be it. And then last year obviously they were blaming COVID, lack of staff, and now I think sometimes it's not everybody at that company, but a lot of them it's apathy, and well, that's how it is, so well, it isn't how it is really, is it? We've got a great industry. I love our industry, and we've got some great companies and great people in it, and that's what we've kind of got to focus on. But that said, our name is really important to us. Service has kept us going for 39 years.
Yeah.
And, just to say, well, another 4 days won't matter. I mean, luckily, they weren't speaking to me. But what is that really? What's all that about, really? Anyway, but
yeah,
the majority is good. But we had one yesterday over transfers being wrong. And oh, dear. And we want to get on with selling holidays. And if then people can't deliver what they've already sold, best stop selling what you new stuff and deal with the things you've got. Catch yourselves up. And then, service is key. We've got a great industry, and we don't, we want to get customers away and have a great time. And that's as simple Simple as that.
Yeah, but that is blighting. That's causing a problem for you.
It costs you, as everybody will tell you, it's time and money, as well as it reflects
and reputation.
Absolutely on yourself. I don't want to get calls from Miami or Australia, and luckily our customers are pretty good. And actually, at the hotel was the call from Australia, but I don't want that. And I'm not saying everything runs smoothly. It doesn't, but it's then the company's not dealing with it, and the people that you're talking with, as though to say, oh well, yes, somebody's
and not good enough to use COVID as an excuse anymore, is what you're saying.
Positive news for travel for 23.
Yeah.
That's
all
what
right.
we want.
Lisa, have you had anything similar to what Tony's experiencing?
For us, really, not in terms of service and complaints. We are back. I would say the operators that we're working with are within a reasonable time frame. It's not like it was once upon a time, but it's okay. Our challenge is things that are on request with operators or waiting to get things confirmed to help the agent confirm a booking, and group bookings are taking so long to come back for us from operators. So I think there's a challenge within the operators. Maybe it's a staffing challenge, I don't know. We're just being told that they're inundated, which is great for all of us, that they are inundated, but for us, we want to confirm and sell the holiday, so we need answers, as particularly around group quotes is our challenge at the moment.
All right. And Gem, just to see if you've had anything similar.
I mean, our tour operator partners are, our relationships with them are absolutely imperative to the success of our business. And therefore, I'm really choosy about who we work with, and for very good reason. Thankfully, in our sector of the market, there is a lot of choice. So if it doesn't work out, our relationship, for whatever reason, there is always somebody else who is willing to fill that gap. But on the whole, I would say 99% of who we work with are practically handpicked. We know the teams in depth. You have the phone number to the managing director. And I'm the sort of person, as you probably gathered, if something's wrong, I will tell you right there and then. And we work to make it right, whether that's a client issue or a quoting issue or something like that. There is always a solution, and it's always about communication. However, saying that, there's one particular tour operator who I hate working with, but I have a very good client that likes something that they sell. And last week they hung up on me because the client had an issue in resort. I called to resolve the issue, and they didn't like what I was saying. So, it's very in the minority. As I said, 99% of who we work with are incredible. But there are still some operators out there that are offering really poor service, really poor response rates, and are not valuing their relationships with agents who could, give them a really good revenue stream.
Okay, all right.
And some operators out there do listen, by the way. So look, I'd say I'm on Jet2's travel agent advisory board that they put together. I'm not sure whether I meant to tell you that, but just before Christmas. But what a good thing!
Great story, thanks, Tony.
Yeah, but they are, and they've got one, and there's a number of agents on it, and they're listening. They tell us the new ideas they've got, but we tell them where things we think are not working. So there's agents tour operators out there who do listen as well, and and that's what it should be, and we work together to move and get everybody traveling, and it's everything, whatever anybody spends is important to them. So I think that we can all work together. We've got a fantastic industry. So there is companies out there that will listen and act on it, so that there's some amazing companies out there. It's just the odd.
Yeah, well, we'll leave it on a positive, but hopefully,
absolutely.
Hopefully people will watch this and maybe pull their socks up if they know that they might be one of those that could perhaps just improve on their service, because it is important, as you say. And in terms of their sort of investment in marketing and in you guys in sort of joint marketing, co-op marketing and stuff, you seeing that coming back now? So it's not the service side of things, but just to sort of really get the industry moving. Are you seeing that at all? Anyone?
We are absolutely. We, you know, on the other side, on the flip side of Tony saying about the service, I mean, our services, as I said, has been great, but what they've also done is helped us considerably. A lot of our partners are definitely back with the marketing spends. They want to help support the agent to be able to promote the products that we want to sell, the destinations that people were maybe have been slightly put off previously. You know, there's a lot of investment going back into getting everybody traveling. So we're certainly seeing support from a marketing incentive perspective, definitely.
All right. Okay. Just finally then, because we've got to get you back to work so you can actually do some sales and some bookings. Some of the issues we talked about over the last couple of years have been around recruitment. We've mentioned it a couple of times here. Mental health, all the pressure that you guys were under. I mean, Tony, it's fantastic to say you've kept your team, you know, their experience, you've kept them in place. And at some points, Gem, you were working on your own, dealing with absolutely everything. Like, how do you feel you're through that now? And you know, all those issues around resource and having to do a million jobs, do you feel that we're out of that now? And are you looking more positively forward for this year?
I would say so. I would say, you know, we changed the model of our business because of COVID, and actually in seeing that through now for a year, through 2022, it has been a really positive thing for us. So we're much leaner than we were before, but actually we're in, you know, we had our best year last year in terms of profit, and that at the end of the day is the main thing, isn't it? How much profit you're making. And so I think for us, it's about you know, we have our plans going forward and making really conscious decisions about how we grow the business going forward.
But you do see growth this year, do you?
I do see growth this year, and I also see, you know, more recruitment later in the year, later in 23.
Yeah.
So yes, I think we're through the kind of, I feel that kind of really fraught panic stage where every day was just like your head was so full it was going to burst, and everybody was the same. I feel like we're getting back to more of a pattern and a normality of booking holidays. Yes, it's busy. I think recruitment is still going to be a bit of a challenge, but I do think that now, having had a really good year and the travel industry not being slated in the press all the time, I think it will attract people back into the industry that have perhaps given it a bit of a break.
That was the problem for a while. I think people were giving us a bit of a wide berth, weren't they?
Yeah.
Tony, you've kept your team in place. Are they all in a good place?
Yeah, they are. Actually, mental health is quite important. You mentioned that. And actually, I think at the beginning of last year, I changed my focus on looking after them. And I think probably sometimes I didn't do that as much as I should. And actually, I've gone back to thinking travel's a fun place to work. So I made it think that everybody got away last year on some trip form or other. I've got some plans for them to do some trips away this year, to do some new things. And actually, I thought they need to enjoy working here, because it's an hard, pressurized job. But as a team, we get on. You know, I took the families out last year. We went llama trekking on the moors, and actually, I just thought they need to enjoy it. You know, it's they're good to me. They look after me. I need to look after them. So travel is.
That's the silver lining of COVID, isn't it? That you've kind of reassessed that.
Yeah, I took it to, you know, expected it really, I suppose. But actually, yeah, let's enjoy it more, because it is fun, isn't it? You know, we meet up, it's the Globes coming, that'll be, you know, etc. But it's great, isn't it? We are in a fantastic industry, and we get to places that I never ever thought I would. But it's important, I think, that for your business, your job, your team. Actually, yeah, I've mellowed in my old age, I think, as my daughter tells me, and the rest of the team. But yeah, so I'm going to make sure that we enjoy it. We did 12 days of Christmas. Before Christmas, I left the team to that. They had some great fun, which was getting people as customers involved online, and they loved it.
I saw that. It was brilliant. That was all over social media. It was very, very good. Very successful.
You know, people have spoke to me all over the place about it, but we want the fun back into travel, and you know, we do the business, but actually I need to look after my team, and we've added to it, and maybe we're looking at adding someone this year as well. So
brilliant. All right, and Lisa, just finally, let's finish with you, because you introduced a whole new wellbeing program, I think, in September, because mental health is so important for you and all the people. You've got a lot of people that you look after.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for us, our team, for me, the team are the most important part of my role. I have to create an environment where they're happy, as Tony said, where it's fun. it's been so stressful, but we spend a lot of time at work. So for me, I want to have a happy team. I want people who want to come in and want to sell holidays, because you feel that, the consumers feel it, you can feel it, the buzz in the office. And I'm glad to say it's definitely back at Inspire. So I'm really happy with that. But the wellbeing program has been a huge part of that. You know, that includes the counselling service that people have free access to, debt advice, a free financial advisor. We have a wellbeing theme every single month where we do something and we give something back, because people always think that, you know, when you put a small amount into a salary, by the time the tax and national insurance, etc., come out, it doesn't actually mean a lot. So doing these other things that where they would have access to experts across many different areas has been huge. You know, the success of that has been, you know, the best thing that I think that we've done at Inspire for a very long time, and I'm really, really proud of it. But you know, it takes engagement from the team to put their hands up and say, actually, yeah, I want to use that service, or I want to have access to that. So yeah, huge credit. I'm super happy with our team. Super happy.
Good. Well, it's just so nice that you're all super happy in general. A little bit of a moan from Tony, but we wouldn't expect anything less. But it's so lovely that, you know, I've got you on here, and it's just so positive. I wish you all the best. I'll let you get back to your hordes of crowds, Tony, in Bradford. I know that you've barred the door because they all want to come and see you, and you're going to go out and, you know, see them now. But wish you all the best for the rest of the peak season. Thank you for joining us. See you at the Globes next week.
Yeah, see you next week.
Yeah, see you next week.
All right, guys.
Oh, thanks, Lucy.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.